Conference. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. If you would like to ask a question during the conference, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. To withdraw your question, press the pound key. I will now turn the call over to Mike Kern. Please go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Bonnie, and welcome to our first men's basketball coaches call. We will have our second one after the first of the year, January 7th. We'll do these every Tuesday at 10:30, and we'll start off with the same coach every week. And we do have Coach Ben Jacobson of Northern Iowa joining us right now. Morning, Ben.
Yeah, good morning, Mike.
How are you?
Doing good.
Good. So let's talk about your next game, and then we'll maybe give us a progress report on where you think you are this far in the season. 5-5 record coming off of a nice win against VCU. But Virginia's a tough test this weekend in Charlottesville, and then you close out your non-conference portion of the schedule against Iona at home after the Christmas break. But let's go ahead and talk about Virginia, and then we'll open it up for some questions.
They've got some good wins already this year. So their 3 losses were to good basketball teams: a road loss at Green Bay, home loss to Wisconsin, and a home loss to VCU. The VCU game was down to the end. VCU made a 3 with 1 second left to win that basketball game at Virginia. So there was some good losses already, and a number of good wins to go with those games. The kind of team that we would expect to see from Tony Bennett. Really, tough defensively. Their defensive numbers are extremely impressive. They kind of pop off that stat sheet and all the way across the line when you look at what they've done at the defensive end of the floor and in terms of rebounding. And then, their offense is, again, what we would expect from a team that Tony Bennett's coaching. They are very, very good in their motion offense, do a great job of forcing you to work at that defensive end of the floor. And, he's got it looks like he's got a deeper team than what they had a year ago. He's got a very talented team, a team that has been picked to finish in the top of the ACC, and a team that's supposed to go to the NCAA tournament. So, it's another really good game for us and a great challenge for our guys. And we've had a couple games on the road, but we've been close. It's been at Ohio, at George Mason, a neutral site game with Iowa State. Some games where we've been in decent position to maybe pick up a quality road win or the neutral win maybe against Iowa State. We haven't been able to do it. So, my hope is we can play a little bit better, eliminate a few mistakes, and have a chance to win Saturday at Virginia.
Thanks, Ben. Let's go ahead and open it up for some questions for Coach Ben Jacobson. Questions from the media.
To ask Coach a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Our first question comes from Andrew Logue of the Des Moines Register.
Hi, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. I wanted to ask you, in this age, one thing that was nice for you guys is you got a win on national TV, and I wanted to ask you, in terms of maybe recruiting and getting the chance for kids to see your program, and maybe even just to get from general population, get your name out there, how big is a game on television in this day and age?
Those games are tremendously important for us, and to have the opportunity to, the one that we played with VCU this past Saturday is return to the Bracket Buster series, and I think that's one of the things that whether as a coach you were a big fan of the Bracket Busters, or it was a series that you didn't necessarily like for whatever reason you're on either side of that, Andrew. The opportunity to be on national television late in the year when the Bracket Buster series was going, and you had the February game, and then a return game like this, when you've got a quality opponent like VCU that, for all of us, it's hard to schedule and get teams like that to come to our place. And then when you do, it happens to be the kind of game that ESPN wants to pick up. Those games are extremely important for the reasons that you mentioned, and one of the many reasons why it's an important part of our program is the recruiting aspect. For young guys and their families, and for high school coaches and AAU coaches to be able to sit down and watch our team play on national television it's a great thing for our program and a great thing for our league.
Do you think the kids enjoy it? I mean, in this day and age, they can kind of be jaded almost a little bit because so much is on TV, but do they get amped up a little still?
Yeah, there's no question. There's I think part of that, Andrew, is if the game is on national television, the opponent is usually of that caliber, and so I think it's a combination of those two things. One, when you're on national television as a player, I think that adds to your enthusiasm, and it certainly adds to the way in which you approach the game. As much as from a coach's standpoint, we'd like to be able to sit here and say that it doesn't matter or it shouldn't matter. It certainly does, and then again, in those games, most times the opponent is going to be a little bit different than what you might have in a normal non-conference game. So you combine those two things, and you're going to get a better effort from your guys.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Our next question comes from Whitey Reed of the Daily Progress.
Hey there, Coach. I guess I was wondering how Paul Jesperson has kind of fit into the culture of your program and what you think he'll be able to contribute specifically to the program when he becomes eligible next year. And then lastly, just, how much of a help has he been in helping you guys prepare for this game on Saturday?
Yeah, Paul's he's been great. One of the things I've really liked about him is he's added some maturity to our team, and he's added some leadership to, right now it's with that scout team, of course, and helping us get prepared for opponents, and this week being a little bit different and taking on a little bit different role with having played at Virginia. And he'll help some there in terms of us getting ready for Virginia, but the biggest thing that Paul has done is he's helped our younger guys. We've got some freshmen that are redshirting this year. We've got some younger guys in our program, a couple of freshmen playing, a couple of younger guys that are playing, and Paul's 2 years of experience at Virginia, the amount of time that he played, being a starter last year on a very good Virginia team, all of those experiences have helped Paul become a better player, and being a part of Tony's program have helped him in terms of maturing and growing into a leadership role, and he's been able to do that for us this year, even though he isn't on the game floor, and so he's been very valuable already, and I think he's going to be a very good player for us. When you combine that with his leadership skills, his ability to push his teammates, he's got a real good feel for the importance of working out, staying after practice, getting there early, coming in on the weekends. Those are things that he's doing right now in a year in which he sits out. And very good examples for the young guys in our program. So we're thrilled to have him, and I think he's going to be a very good player. As I said, I think he's going to be really good for our league, and a guy we're looking forward to getting on that floor.
Thank you.
Yep.
Our next question comes from Dave Reynolds of the Peoria Journal-Star.
Hi, Jake.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, just assessing your team 10 games into the season, what have you done well? What are things where you need to improve?
Yeah, we've made too many mistakes, Dave, and I know that can take in a wide range of things, of course, and really our mistakes have been all the way across the spectrum. From a defensive standpoint, we're not guarding the ball quite well enough. Our rotations aren't quite on time. From a rebounding standpoint, when we've been good at times, but there's been stretches in games, Dave, where we just haven't rebounded the ball well enough. Some of those things have gotten better, as you would expect that they should over the course of some games. Offensively, I felt like at Milwaukee, our offense let us down. We were up 11 to start the second half and didn't have a lot of purpose to our offense, and that allowed Milwaukee to get going and take control of that basketball game. And we had a similar stretch against Iowa State. We had a nice lead to start the second half against Iowa State, and offensively, it kind of let us down. And so I would tell you, as we stand right now, Dave, I've liked the ability of our guys to make some individual plays. I've liked the ability of our guys in terms of their competitiveness. It's allowed us to be in some games when we haven't necessarily done everything correctly. And then we put together our, in the last 10 days, we've got an Iowa State team that's ranked inside the top 20 and played very well against them with the exception of a 6 or 7 minute stretch in the second half. We got a home win Tuesday when we just weren't very sharp against Savannah State, but able to get that win. And then we played our best game against VCU. So some of our young guys and some of our guys that don't have a lot of game experience, they were starting to play better. We've still got a long ways to go in terms of being a defensive unit, and we've got a long ways to go in terms of rebounding. And then we've got to find some more purpose with our offense. Those would be the biggest things.
Yeah, if I could just follow up, a lot of teams playing more zone this year with the new rules. Have you gone to that? I know primarily you've been a man team in the past. Have you shown some more zone this year? We've played a few possessions of it, Dave. I've thought a lot more about playing zone this year than what I have in the past. And I'll tell you, I think in some ways it's slowed down the progress of our man-to-man defense, with the new rules and, knowing that is coming and the way in which, we started the year this year. I think from my standpoint, from a practice standpoint, I don't have our team as prepared as I should right now from a defensive standpoint. Trying to make sure that the new rules didn't impact us and we weren't fouling everybody and getting guys that need to be on the floor sitting on the bench with the foul trouble. And so we've in the last week or 10 days, Dave, we've started to do a few more things in terms of just putting in our some of those same old practice drills and trying to get our team going again from that man-to-man defensive standpoint. In saying that, I think that we'll probably end up playing a little bit of zone this year, where in the past we may not have. Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Coach, that was your final question. Thank you for your time, and good luck against Virginia.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right, thank you. See you later.
Yep.
Let's get to Coach Ray Giacoletti of the Drake playing Western Michigan tomorrow in Des Moines, and then Albany and IUPUI remain on the non-conference schedule before the first of the year when they open against Evansville at home in the conference opener. Morning, Ray.
Morning. How are you?
Good. Thanks for your patience this morning. We got behind schedule right out of the gate, but just like I asked Coach Jacobson, if you could just give us a progress report. I know you're playing without your second leading scorer, your top assist man. He's hurt and out for the year, but talk a little bit about your team, and then we'll open up for some questions.
Well, obviously we got off to a really good start with winning 6 of the first 7 games, and kind of team coming together a little bit when we were in Fresno for those 3 days and 3 games. And then, trying to kind of figure out how to get back to that point without Gary Ricks. And we don't have a whole lot of room for error with as far as players on the perimeter. We're really down to 3 players for the 1 and 2 spots for the rest of the year. Thank God, Jordan Daniels became eligible the other night against New Mexico State. But I've been really pleased. The guys buying into a new staff, a new way of doing things. We've really tried to focus on 2 areas: rebounding the basketball and the defensive end of the floor. And early in the year, our rebounding numbers were, we say, did you do your job, more so than just, how many rebounds you had. And, it was a direct correlation of winning games and where those rebound numbers were at. In the last 3 games, for whatever reason, we're not nearly as efficient boxing out defensively or doing their job offensively, whether, the 1 and the 2 has specific jobs in defensive transition and the 3, 4, and 5 go to the glass. Our numbers aren't nearly as good. And it's funny how there's a direct correlation to winning and losing with just those specific numbers. Defensively, we're a work in progress and trying to get better each day as we go, but we still have a lot of work to go. And with New Mexico State's 2 big guys the other night, they caused some problems for us trying to defend those guys. But all in all, I'm excited and happy where we're at, and right now we're just trying to find a way to get better each day. Really no other goal other than just win the day is what we keep preaching to our team. And if you do that, you take care of yourself a week from now and a month from now. We have a tough Western Michigan team tomorrow here at home, and we haven't been at home very often, or very much early in the year, and so we're excited for the opportunity that they present.
Coach, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and open it up for some questions now. For your questions from the media.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Andrew Lugg of the Des Moines Register.
Hi, Coach.
Hi, Andrew. How you doing?
All right. I got 2 questions. One, in the next few weeks, you're going to have 6 games that will be televised on Mediacom. And with someone trying to start a program and, in a sense, get a brand out there and catch the eye of recruits, how important are those television dates? And on another matter, I'm always a little fuzzy on it. Is there any chance Gary could apply for a medical red shirt in his situation?
Yeah, I'll answer that one first. We made the 30% rule, so he will get his year back. And so, with that injury, there's good news and bad news. Obviously, the bad news, he's done for the year. The good news is we will get him back for next year. And with 5 freshmen coming in the program next year, I think it'll really be a blessing next year to have him, older guy that gives some leadership and some direction. And he just plays with such a calmness on the floor. He plays slow, and which is good at times to be able to read situations. And he's our best perimeter defender. He's our best assist man, our best three-point shooter. So, the blessing is those young guys next year will have an older, experienced guy to hopefully help them get up to speed a little bit quicker. On your first question about being on television, I think anytime you're on television is a plus and a bonus. And, we are a work in progress right now and trying to implement certain staples, like I said, defensively, rebound-wise, and that needs to become our first line of our offense. Getting out, running, and pushing the basketball, but you got to get stops and rebound the ball first before you can do that. And I think that's something that, when you're recruiting today, that's what people want to do. They want to get out and run. Ours just a little bit different, where we want to be able to get stops and rebound it first, not run out of a made field goal situation. So I think anytime we can get on television, have opportunity for people to see us, I think that's important. And we're excited that we have that opportunity.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Todd Hefferman of the Southern Illinois newspaper.
Hey, Coach, what kind of impact do you think Daniels can make for your team? What kind of things can he do for you offensively?
I think that's probably the biggest piece is offensively. He's somebody that can shoot it. He's not really a point, more of a combo. We'll play him off the ball offensively. But I was impressed after sitting for a full year and be able to come off the bench against New Mexico State and just the poise he played with, stepping up, 3 seconds to go, making 3 free throws to send it in overtime. I mean, took some guts. Needs to get better defensively and will as we move along, with the season. But as far as his understanding of the game and making simple plays, I was really impressed with that last week. I think that's something you really don't know if people are going to be able to do until you're in a game situation. I mean, a lot of times you kind of get tricked in practice with guys that redshirt or sit out because there's no pressure on them. As soon as a game situation comes, you can get a really good feel for, what you can expect in game situations. And hopefully he continue offensively what he did the other night, because we certainly need it. And, excited to continue to watch him develop.
And, stats never tell you the whole story, but kind of just what jumped out to me is that you look at free throws with the new rules, and you're averaging over 75 points a game, but you haven't really made a ton of free throws. Is that kind of been a big emphasis, or has it not been a big emphasis for you, or has just kind of worked out that way?
Yeah, we have 3 things on our board we talk about each night, and they're the numbers that you try to get to that equate the process that equates to winning, and one of them is to get to the free throw line 10 times or more half. Now, with the new rules, that number maybe needs to go up to maybe 12, but for the last 10 years, it's been at the number of 10. And so it's something we emphasize, it's something we try to do. We just, for whatever reason, have not been as successful at that as we need to be. One of the other things that's, of the 3, is limit yourself to 6 turnovers or less, and we're averaging 11 turnovers, knock on wood, that we can sustain that. And then the third one is try to hold opponents to 30 points or less, per half. If you do 2 of those, you win probably 90% of the games. So obviously, if you do 3, you're slam dunk. But those are certain numbers that we try to talk about, before the game, at halftime, and it's the first thing we talk about after the game.
And defensively, how well have you put pressure on the other team? You have a bunch of steals, and your field goal percentage defense is top 5 in the league right now.
Yeah, I think we've just been okay. Sometimes numbers are a little bit, maybe don't tell the true story, in 9 or 10 games of play. We need to do a better job being disciplined defensively. And, I think that will hopefully get better as we move along. There's little things of rotations and, trying to figure out now, I'm 51 years old, since I can remember, you were taught to get to the split line, the help line, off the basketball, and if guy left his feet, you take a charge. I'm not really sure what to tell our guys right now. I'm trying to figure out how we can help our guys be successful, because we've tried to take a lot of charges and haven't been real successful at it. So I think we're all kind of in the same boat, officials included, trying to figure out exactly what we can do to help our team and then help them be successful in those kinds of situations.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Reed Forgrave of Fox Sports 1.
Hey, Ray, how are you?
Good, Reed. Hey, happy holidays.
You too. I was just wondering about Jacob Jensen, how you have seen him develop as a freshman, as a player, but also how he's adjusting to living in a completely different country.
Yeah, I mean, we were so fortunate and lucky to be able to get him over here this year. I mean, especially taking the job so late. It was kind of a fluke how it worked out, but he's someone who I think has a chance to be very good before it's all said and done. And, to have that kind of size, he's got a really good work ethic, good hands. In my past with watching big guys develop, he has all the intangibles to become a very good player before it's all said and done. I mean, heck, just to go out and get 13 rebounds the other night against the 2 Giants from New Mexico State is great progress. I believe, he's really enjoying his experience. The opportunity to get an American education and an education at Drake, I think, is special for he and his family. And couldn't be more excited that he's going to be a part of our program for the next 4 years. So that was kind of a gift from heaven to be able to get him, especially in the circumstances we were in, just taking the job.
Look at the giant from New Mexico State, Sim Bueller. What do you think of him? And do you see that kid as NBA bound or still has a long way to go?
I don't think he's an NBA player, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a big human being, and I think he's got trouble getting up and down the floor. Maybe in that game he's probably going to be a great college basketball player. Probably make a lot of money overseas. I just don't see him as an NBA guy. I'm not sure he quite moves, but it's still young. He's just a sophomore, so you don't know. The problem guarding him is, the other kid from South Africa is actually a better post-up player, and so we put our best post defender on him, and our foremen right now are 6'6", and so he was able to get deep position, and it's probably on me a little bit. We every time we double, they seem to hit a 3 on us, and so you just kind of pick your poison. But a very good college player. I guess it remains to be seen how he continues to develop at the next level. But he was good enough to beat us the other night. I know that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, that was it for you. Thank you for your time, and good luck tomorrow night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. Thanks. Bye. Let's get to Paul Luska of Missouri State. The Bears playing at number 4 ranked Louisville tonight on ESPN2 at 8 o'clock. Good morning, Paul. Thanks for your patience. It's almost, I guess, lunchtime there at on Eastern time. But talk about your game tomorrow night or tonight, and then we'll open it up for some questions.
Thank you. It's actually about shoot-around time. That's what we're in the process of doing, but excited to be here.
Thanks, Paul. Let's go ahead and open it up for some questions for you so we can get you back to shoot-arounds, and appreciate you joining us this morning. Questions for Coach Paul Luska, Missouri State.
To ask Coach a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Our first question comes from Todd Hefferman of the Southern Illinois newspaper.
Hey, Paul, if you could just talk a little about the heart of your team. Losing a couple starters, and I know you play a lot of guys, but kind of rallying around with those losses and still able to win some games here. And now we're back.
You bet, Todd. Yeah, I mean it was. I think it was a positive thing from the standpoint that they were not season-ending injuries, but yet we had those guys out for an extended time. And especially early in the season, because you're playing a particular way through the preseason, you're developing roles, and then 2 of your main guys go out, and then you have to change midstream. But I thought we were able to survive through that stretch and win some games, and then get back to campus after the Corpus Christi tournament and get some practice without those guys. So they were able to come back against Oral Roberts. They both helped us. I think it's given the guys that played during that extended time throughout those injuries, I think it's given them some confidence, and hopefully in the long run it'll pay off for us.
Marshall's numbers are very similar to last year. What are the biggest improvements you've seen in his game this year so far?
Well, I think it's such a small sample size, Todd, because he really hasn't, he's played in about basically 3 games, really. He and Gully haven't played together a whole lot. So it's still early. But as we talked about with him, don't reinvent yourself. Just do the same things you did as a freshman. He's a pretty smart basketball player. He plays at his own pace. Would like to see his assist ratio go up. But as I said, there's not a real big sample size early on.
Thanks.
Good.
Again, for questions, press star 1.
Well, looks like that was it. We'll be watching tonight. Good luck against the Louisville Cardinals, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. And let's go next to Coach Greg Lansing of Indiana State. I know he had to get to shoot-arounds or practice, and I'm not sure if he's still with us, but if he is, good morning, Greg.
Still here, buddy boy.
How you doing? Thanks for sticking on with us.
That's all right. I like hearing the other guys talk too. I'm following them, but I haven't got to see much of what they've said so far. So
great. Well, let's talk about your next game. It's going to be a tough one at SLU tomorrow night, and I'll be in the stands watching and visiting with you post game, hopefully after a victory. But SLU's a tough opponent.
Yeah, they're the best team we've played to this point, and the bigger things with me are they're the toughest, most physical, and best defensive team we've played probably by far. I think they've taken the fact that we've got these new rules and all and said, Coach Cruz is like, so what? Because they're playing the same way, and they're physical and so well drilled defensively. And just watching that Wichita State game, neither one of those two teams gave each other anything. It'll be a true test for us. we've done okay to this point. We got a lot of improving to do at both ends of the floor, and we could certainly go into St. Louis, play well, and not win.
Thank you, Greg. Let's open it up for some questions now for you from the media. Questions for Greg Latz.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1.
Let's talk about your Alaska trip before we run the cue one more time. Talk about your trip to Alaska and how that helped hurt. I know you picked up one loss there, but talk about the trip.
Yeah, anytime in tournament play, it's you got to win that first game, and we went up there with the mindset of having a first opportunity to win a championship, and we didn't get it done. We played that first 20 minutes of Tulsa was the worst 20 minutes we've played of the year, and that takes nothing away from them because they were very athletic and very quick. We played really well in spurts in the second half, had 5-point leads, 3-point leads, as well as a lead with end of the game there with 2. And the one thing you don't want with under 30 seconds left, the one thing you don't want to give up is a 3, and that's what we did. But we suffered through that disappointment and beat 2 good basketball teams after that, and it was just a long trip, and our guys got back to Terre Haute and worked, and we've won 4 since then. So it was difficult and disappointing and all, but we did come back 2-1 from it.
And a final question for you, just the double round with Belmont. Very good basketball team. You took one on the chin down there, losing by just a single point, but you get him back at your place. Final non-conference game of the year before you start up with Loyola to open up January and the conference schedule. Talk a little about your 2 games with Belmont.
Yeah, we've gone over 10,000 miles, and we haven't been in the Holman Center for over a month, so we're 7-2 with playing 2 home games, so I guess that's a positive in it, and that was one of the losses. I think we were up 16 at half at Belmont against a very, very good Belmont team. I think they proved that when they went to North Carolina and won, but we gave up, it might be a world record, I'm not sure, 63 points in the second half, and we're just atrocious at that end. And I look back in all my the coaching, the closest we came to was 51 points in a half a team had given up. So it was very, very disappointing. But again, it was against a tremendous opponent with they still might have the longest winning streak at home. I'm not sure, but we didn't do our part there, and that's kind of been us. It's disappointing the 2 1-point losses we've taken, but we are what we are. We're 7-2, and we're a team that needs to continue to improve if we want to have a chance once we get into the league play.
Great, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow, Mike.
See you later. Okay, all right, bye-bye. Coach Marty Simmons of Evansville with us. Evansville sitting at 6-5 on the season, off to a quick 5-0 start, but it struggled on the 1-loss record since then. But they have a tough game against Butler in the next game. Butler coming to Evansville on the 21st. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, Mike. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. Talk about your next opponent, and we'll put it up for some questions for you. Butler obviously a tough get.
Yeah, they kind of speak for themselves. I mean, they've had a outstanding program there for a long time. Brandon has stepped in there for Brad and just done a terrific job. I mean, they have really, really good players that are smart, tough, very unselfish. Dunham is having one heck of a season. Marshall seems like he's been there for 6 or 7 years. I mean, he's just really strong, really athletic, really determined basketball player. There's a reason why they've been so successful, the Butler way, and just their mentality and how they approach the game. They've always been one of the harder teams to score against because they're so detailed. They do a great job of guarding screens and cuts and dribble penetration. So, with where we're at, coming off a tough loss, we're focused more on us and just our ability to get back to where, we're just competing harder, working harder, executing better, but we're certainly excited about the opportunity.
Thanks, Marty. Let's open it up for some questions now for you. Questions from the media for Coach Marty Simmons.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1.
Coach, obviously you have to be pleased with the play of DJ and leading the league in scoring. Had a pretty phenomenal start and certainly has not let up on the pedal. So talk about his start to the season. Certainly an offensive performance that you have needed.
Yeah, I mean, DJ deserves all the credit. You know, he's put in the work and the effort, and you know, he's doing it in a lot of different ways. You know, I mean, he's scoring in transition, he's scoring out of half court, he's got a good mid-range game, he's getting to the free throw line. You know, he's just done a terrific job in so many ways for our basketball team.
Marty, that looks like you got get out of jail free card. No other questions in the queue for you. Thanks for your time, and have a great holiday. We'll see you after the first of the year.
Thanks, Mike. The same to you and everybody over there.
All right, thank you. Let's get next to Coach Barry Hinson of Southern Illinois. The Salukis are playing at Murray State tonight. Thank you for joining us on a game day, Barry. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yeah, well, let's talk about your game tonight, maybe a progress report on your team, and then we'll open it up for some questions.
Well, we play Murray State, which, if I'm not mistaken, is one of in the last 20 years, is the fourth winningest program in the country. So we've got a monumental task tonight for our guys, but we embrace it just like we do every other game, and I think we've made progress over the last 2 weeks. We've only played 2 games in a 2-week period, and I think it's helped us a little bit. Our biggest opponent right now is ourselves. I just listened to what Marty said, and I agree with him totally, is that we're more worried about us than we are Murray State at this point in time.
Thank you, Coach. Let's go ahead and open it up for some questions now from the media. Questions for Coach Barry Hinson.
To ask Coach a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad.
Everybody's buying lottery tickets, Mike. I may hit it today.
Oh, yeah, me too. I wish. Any questions for Barry? Barry?
How about that? I hit the lottery.
We'll let you get the shoot-arounds so you can get a win tonight.
All right, thank you, guys. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it. We do have Coach Porter Moser of Loyola on the line with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Good. Asking each coach to give us a little bit of a progress report and talk a little bit about their team. Of course, Milton Doyle's having a great season for you, a freshman Chicago native, and certainly the first newcomer and player of the week that we've had sweep both awards in about 6 years. So congratulations to him for his awards for last week's performance, and talk a little bit about your team, and then we'll open up for some questions for you.
Well, we're getting better, and that's what you want to see. As a coach, you know, our backcourt's obviously Milton, a freshman, and Kiki's a sophomore, Jeff White, and we're getting better. You know, there's times where we've been really pleased with some things, and then we've lost some leads. We've lost 3 second-half leads of 19, 17, and 17, and you got to go through those things and learn. And we held on to a lead last game, and we're excited about, you know, the growth process. Milton is getting better and better. He's, you know, very athletic. One area that when I took this over a couple of years ago, I just felt our athleticism was really down. And especially with these new rules, that's where I think Milton gets the new rules. He's getting to the foul line. He got to the foul line 15 times last game. He can drive by guys, and he gets, you know, it's a Coach Majerus term, body up, body in. When you start to drive, you got to kind of turn the corner and drop that shoulder, and he gets that. And, you know, that his development is a key to us, of him learning and getting experience, as well as some other guys. You know, we're playing a lot of guys. You know, 4 sophomores are playing a lot in a freshman out of our top seven. So I like our guys, the culture. I like their attitudes. I think they're working hard. We just got to get better. We got to get better every day as we move into this league.
Porter, thank you so much. Let's open it up for some questions now. Questions for Coach Porter Moser of Loyola.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Todd Hefferman of the Southern Illinois newspaper.
Hey, Coach, when you look at your season, you know, any big thing, what has put you over the top or it really cost you in those 5 losses, or has there been any one commonality in those games?
Yes, understanding, shot selection, taking care of the ball, and how to preserve a lead. We've given up like 11-0 runs in like a minute and a half in all those leads. A team will hit a three, we'll come down, and kind of that youthful exuberance thinking they're going to get it right back by yanking a quick three. And you got to understand, time and score of preserving a lead. And we early on we were really missing some key free throws that we've spent a lot of time. Our free throw shooting has been better, as of late, and that's been a big thing. And our second half defense, when you called for you're from Southern Illinois. I wish I had more guys defending like my assistant Brian Mullins. It's second half defense has been a problem guarding the dribble drive and in key situations. I think sometimes young guys, they just hope the other team doesn't score against you. And veteran defensive players and excellent defensive players are still just grinding, lockdown game plan. They understand the defense in those situations. And we've looked at some of those leads, and our defense has just been kind of hoping they don't score instead of just having great, tight defense late.
Yeah, you mentioned Mullins. I was going to ask you, but he was maybe the toughest player I've ever seen play here, and he's very well regarded here. Has he kind of rubbed off on those young guards at all that you've seen this year?
Well, we talked to our guys about him a lot. He's just talking with them. They come up to his office and everything and talk to him, and I refer Brian a lot to them because I recruited Brian. I coached against him and just talked about it. I mean, he's not the quickest guy in the world, but he plays unbelievably tough and fast because he just grinds it out. He takes a lot of pride, and Brian didn't take plays off, and we're in that youthful mode where we'll take plays off defensively. We got to get better at it. We got to get more consistent defensively, but absolutely, that's a big reason why I hired him. Is that he's local from here, but also, he's one of the most storied guys in the last 10 years. I mean, he's decorated. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year, All-League, championships, and you want guys, it's the same with recruiting. When you're trying to build culture, you want to bring in culture. And that's why the two kids we signed early both came from state championship teams. And, it's the same thing with your staff with Brian. He comes from winning championships in this league, and that's what you want to surround everything with when you're building culture.
Thank you.
Porter, that was your final question. Thank you for your time this morning, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, good luck. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Getting next to Coach Dan Muller of Illinois State. The Redbirds are at 5-5 overall. They have two more games before Christmas, playing Tennessee State and DePaul at home. The DePaul game start time was moved to 3:30 to accommodate television, and they'll be on television at 3:30 on the 22nd. Hi, Coach.
Morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. Let's talk about your team. Give us a progress report. Start off a little slow with a 1-4 record. Things kind of righted themselves, and of course you lost last night to a tough open ball club. But give us a little progress report, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you.
Yeah, we did. We started off a little bit slow with a very tough schedule with losses to VCU, Drexel, Manhattan, Vermont, and we're just playing better. It took us a while to figure out how to play hard consistently, how to play together on the offensive end. We're playing small for the most part. We're playing basically four guards. It's helped us offensively. Last night we kind of took a step back with our defensive intensity, but we've gotten a lot better over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Thank you, Dan. Let's open it up for some questions now for you. Questions from the media for Coach Dan Muller.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Todd Hefferman of the Southern Illinois newspaper.
Coach, you mentioned playing four guards. That was something SIU did a lot last year. Do you feel like you're going to be able to do that all season, or is it kind of an experiment right now, or what do you like about that right now?
Yeah, I think we'll do it all season. Whether we do it for full games or not, I'm not sure. we're zoning a lot, so it's taken away some mismatches we may have on the defensive end with it. And because we shoot it so well, it's worked out pretty well. Puts a little bit of pressure on our shooting, a lot of pressure on boxing out, and our guards playing physical. But I'm just trying to get the best team, the best competitors on the court, and that's what we've gone with. So I've liked it so far.
Anything that's really come together the last couple games for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. Again, our defensive intensity, we've pressed quite a bit. That's helped us. We're not forcing a ton of turnovers, but it's disrupting the offense. And then we're really sharing the ball. We got a lot of guards that can penetrate the paint. We got a lot of guys that can kick it out and make shots. Our shooting percentages over the last 5 games, we're shooting 42% from 3 as a team, which in the first 5 games we were shooting about 30%. Our overall percentage has gone up, but we're just sharing the ball pretty well, and we're shooting it really well from the three-point line.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Dave Reynolds of the Peoria Journal-Star.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dave.
Just wondering what Millbrook's status is at this point.
Yeah, Mike's still suspended indefinitely. Nothing's changed with him right now.
Did he make the trip up to Oakland, or?
He did go with us, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coach, that was your final question. Best of luck in the rest of your non-conference schedule with Tennessee State and DePaul awaiting within a week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. We're reaching out to Coach Gino Ford of Bradley, and we'll have them on momentarily. Just a note to the beat writers that are on the call, we will have a round table. There's not a ton of us on, but after Gino, we'll have a round table of our beat writers, and Coach Greg Marshall is in the middle of a shoot-around in their game for tonight against Alabama. So we'll hold momentarily until we have Gino on. I see that Coach Gino Ford has joined us. So Bradley sitting at 5-5, headed to Vegas for the South Point Holiday Hoops Classic next week, playing Portland and Pacific on the 20th and 21st, respectively. Hey, Gino, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Let's talk about your tournament. Portland and Pacific, give us a little progress report on what they've done this year, what to expect from this weekend. Then we'll open it up for some questions for you.
Well, both teams, have gotten off to pretty good starts. Portland is 6-4, and they've got really good size. We played them a year ago out in Vegas in a different exempt tournament, and they beat us in a close game. We had a wide open 3 on the wing to win it and didn't make it, so they beat us. But 2 pretty evenly matched teams, I think. They're a little bigger. A little better inside, a little more veteran. I think we have a little more athleticism on the perimeter. Should be a real close game. And then Pacific has played just unbelievably well. They're 9-1, and they've got 7 seniors on a team, off last year's team that was in the NCAA tournament. So they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they're probably going to be the best team we've seen, at least the way they're playing right now here in several weeks.
Thank you, Gino. Let's open it up for some questions now for you. Questions for Coach Gino Ford of Bradley. Questions from the media.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1.
Coach, a little bit about your own team. Of course, Walt's doing what Walt does, and a little bit about the other players on your team. Talk a little bit about who's meeting expectations and what you're happy with, what you're not happy with.
Well, Walt is very talented, and Walt's been producing numbers. He's been a little inconsistent in some games. That's jumped up and bit us because we rely on him so heavily. So we got to have him get back to playing at his top level. But new guy, Tyshawn Pickett's made a big jump. He's playing like an all-league player. His stats have been great, and his consistency has been really steady. So he's really helped us. He's expanded his game and is much better than he was a year ago. And And we kind of got three newcomers that we've been pretty excited about. Omari Greer's not shot the ball from three nearly as well as near as well as he's capable of, but he's been scoring the ball for us and has been really efficient getting to the foul line. And then Austin Barnes is averaging about 10 points and 8 rebounds. Another guy we're really excited about. It's our best defender. And then our freshman center Xavier Taylor has also been a guy that we've kind of got a lot of confidence in for this early in the year for a freshman. He's hungry to learn and works hard. So we got a long way to go, like everybody this time of year, but we're excited about the process, and we're getting close to the league now, so where it'll really ratchet up and really matter.
Looks like that was the only question for you this morning. I appreciate your time and good luck in Vegas. We'll talk to you after the first of the year.
Okay, have a great Christmas. We'll see you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks, Gino. See you. This does wrap up the weekly call. We'll ask everyone to please disconnect. We'll let the beat writers just stay on the line, and we'll do a round table. And Bonnie, if you could stop recording, please. We'll have the beat writers in just a second.